Welcome to Bring Up Education. My name is Shruti Gulati and I'm an English instructor. So today I'll be teaching you a poem that is The Road Not Taken. The poet of this poem is Robert Frost. Let me give you a summary or the introduction of this poem. You know, every chapter in your book will have a theme, and the whole poem, whole chapter will revolve around that theme. So, in this poem, the main theme is choices. Choices that shapes us. That's it. This is the main theme of this poem. It's all about choices. The poet in this poem tries to say that whatever choice we make today will have a great impact in our future. Whatever choice we are going to make, you have to wait, think, think of its advantages, disadvantages, and then only choose the right path. Because the right path will have a great impact on your future. It can make you, or it can also give you trouble in your life. For example, I'll tell you with a real life example. Right now, you all are in ninth standard. Okay. After 2 years, you will go to 11th standard and then you have to choose streams: maths, science, commerce, or arts. Between these four, you have to choose one, right? So it is in your hand. Think about your skills, whether you are good in maths or bio or commerce, economics or arts, anything. Analyze it. Think of the advantages. Think what you want to become in your life and then make a right choice. Okay. At the same time, you can have other choices also, that you're taking maths just because your friend took that or your parents have asked you, so that will not lead you with success. Okay, so think whatever choice you are going to make right now, from now, after and right now you have a great choice. Make great choice while watching this lecture. You are going to get so many new things. So let's get started. First of all, let me explain the strategy of teaching. Firstly, I'll read the stanza, I'll explain line by line, give you an important words, and then try to relate it with real life. So let's get started. Two words diverge in a yellow wood. And sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood and looked down at one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Now, once the traveler was traveling, or you can say the poet was traveling, now he had two roads in his path. As you can see in this pic also, you have two roads, and he had to go one. Okay, think of a situation while you're walking, you have two paths. Obviously, you have to take one and leave the second. So that's what the poet is trying to think which one is to take. Both had equal opportunities, both had equal disadvantages and challenges. On its own, it's nice standing, thinking that sorry, I could not travel the boat. These are the thoughts that is coming in his mind. He's thinking about it. That I'm a one traveler. Okay, here he says that I'm a one traveler. I cannot go on the both roads. Okay, I cannot go on both roads, and so I'm standing here thinking which one to take and which one not. He's also analyzing the situation. Okay, so in real life it also happened with us. Okay, uh, we always get choices in our life. Every minute we choose one out of other. Okay, so this is what he's trying to say in these 5 lines. So I've explained. Now I'll give you some important words, because you have to keep the meaning of that words in your mind, because end of the poem or this lecture you will get a quiz, and it will be helpful for you if you keep these words in your mind. Okay, so the words are diverge, yellow woods, and undergrowth. You have to keep, I again repeat, keep the words in your mind. Not only words, okay? Keep the meaning also in your mind. So I hope this stanza is clear. Now let's move forward to the second stanza. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. Now, what he thinks, which one is the good, which path is bad, and then suddenly took the other, means out of the two he took the other path. Now according to him it might be this also and this also, okay? He took the other. Why he took the other? He gives reason to himself, okay? He's trying to explain why he took the other. It happens with us also. We try to explain ourselves only that I'm choosing this path, okay, but why am I choosing it? So we try to, you know, tell our mind only before telling others why we took the second or the first path. Because he says that it was just, and now the reasons that he gives are, it was just as fair, means both were equally good, both had equal opportunities, so I randomly choose the second path, okay? And at the same time, he trying to say that it was better and it was grassy and wanted wear. Now what is the meaning of grassy and wanted wear? Now think in the morning when you go to a park and you walk on the grass, you will find that no footprints, grasses are very green, no dust on it, okay, and no footprints, marks, anything, okay, on it. But go back there in evening, what you will find? Dust around, and you can easily figure out the footprints around it, and then you can come to a conclusion, yeah, this path has been traveled, walked by so many other people, okay? So right now he's trying to say that I took the other path because it was grassy, wanted wear. That means it was less traveled and wanted people to travel upon. Okay. Now, as he's moving in the path, he says that no, I think both were equal, both had equal opportunities, and that is why he's saying that both the same, about the same. Okay, they both are same. Now, in real life also we have such kind of situation as I explained. We took the second path and then we try to explain ourselves. Okay, fine. So I took this path because these are the advantages, and then later on we realize, no, wait, hold on. Both had equal opportunities, and I think I took the second just because it was my choice, personal choice. You're in 9th standard, bro. You can make choice now. Okay, so let's get started with the third stanza. I hope the last stanza was clear. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Now, what he's trying to say here is, he's trying to again explain the scenario of the explain the situation or scene of the poet, what he's seeing in front of his eyes is, he's saying that both both that morning equally lay means both that morning equally lay, both that morning they were looking similar, both the paths were looking similar, there was no difference in at all in the paths, okay? And now earlier in the stanza he was saying that it might be possible that one of them has been equally no, one has not traveled much and the other has traveled more, so I'm taking the first path. But now here he is explaining in the second line, no, I think both have been traveled equally, okay? And also he's trying to say that I have kept the path that I've not traveled for some another day. Okay, he's saying that I'll come back some another day, then I'll travel it. But and then in next two lines he is trying to say, he's realizing in his own mind that no, I cannot come back to that path again. Okay, so that would happen in our real life, right? We make a choice between both, and then we think that the other choice will come back, we'll travel, we'll think about it, but deep down we know that if if we have made a choice, we cannot go back. That's what he's trying to say in this poem. I hope this stanza is also clear in your mind. So let's get started with the another stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages and hence, two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Now, at last, this is the last stanza of the poem. He's trying to say that one day he'll sit and take a deep breath. Yeah, somewhere in my life, I had two choices, and I should choose the one that had made a major difference in my life. Or you can say the traveler might have got so much success in his life because of choosing the second path. Or you can think their parents might be also asking him to study science, but he chose to study arts, poetry. He started writing poetry, but that is why he took the right path, and today we can see we are reading his poems. Okay, so the words are sigh here, that is important. And you know what, in real life also it happens that we keep on making choices. Okay, you always keep on making choices in your life. Make choice. Okay, I'm not saying that you will never get a choice, or if you play safe, you won't have to choose between two of them. The only fact is, when you make choice, stick to it. Okay, stick to it, and that will lead you with success and never regret. As I said in the starting of the poem, never regret on your choices and stick to it. Okay, so now I'll explain the literary devices of the poem. There are the 5 literary devices, and before explaining them, I would like to say that this is very important. It will definitely come in one number, or they will give you 2 lines of the poem, and then they will ask what are the literary devices in this poem. So you have to write accordingly. Whatever I'll explain, you have to write it. Rhyme scheme. First one is rhyme scheme. What is rhyme scheme? At the end of the poem, you will get the poem was divided into stanzas, right? There were 4 stanzas. Now the end of the first line of every stanza, you will get a R sound, second B sound, third R sound, the second R sound, and the last B sound. Okay. Now a symbolism. Symbolism means comparing a non-living thing with a living thing. Here, or you can say a situation where you have trying to compare a scenario of that is not related to the real life and which is related to a real life. Like for example, in this poem, 2 roles which represents 2 or more choices in our life. Okay, anaphora, and repeated at the beginning of lines 2, 3 and 4. Okay, alliteration wanted where W sound is repeated, F sound is repeated, the sound is repeated. Okay, repetition. Ages is repeated, If you remember in this last stanza or the second last stanza, it was ages and ages. And if you don't remember, you have a very poor concentration, trust me. Two roads diverge in a wood. So this was repeated in the first stanza and the fourth stanza as mentioned here. So these were all the literary devices. Now it's time for the quiz. As informed you earlier, to keep all the words in your mind, get through the words, and now it's your test time. I hope you all have a notebook and a pen. I'll be dictating a word. You have to think where you came across in which stanza. Try to figure out the meaning of it, and then we'll get with your scores. Okay? So now let's get started. First word is diverge. Try to locate where you actually came across this word in which stanza. Second is yellow wood. Third is undergrowth. Fourth is fair. Fifth is grassy. Sixth is wanted where. Seventh is trodden. Eighth is sign. I repeat. First is diverged. Second is yellow wood. Third is undergrowth. Fourth is fair. Fifth is grassy. Sixth is wanted where. Seventh is trodden. Eighth is sign. So I hope you have written all the meanings. If not exactly, then I hope you try to figure out where you located. So now the meanings are as follows. Diverge, separated and took a different direction. I hope you remember it was talking about the road's diversion in the first stanza. Yellowwood, the scenario of the scene of the forest, you can say the leaves that have turned to yellowish because of the autumn season. Undergrowth, dense growth of plants and bushes, means the path that he wanted to choose that were undergrowth, covered with bushes. Fair, he was trying to say that he took the second path just because it was fair. Grassy here means unused path, as I explained. Wanted where had not been used, and that is why the poet took the second path, because he thought it was not used. Trodden means walked over, and sigh means deep breath. At last he take a deep breath that yes, he chose the right path. I hope you got 8 out of 8, and if so, I would like you to go and get a candy for you. Okay, enjoy. You are actually concentrated in this poem. You have superb concentration level, by the way, and I'm damn sure you will definitely make perfect choices in your life. If your score is like 6 or 7, you need just a quick revision, and that's it. And if your score is 5, well, I don't expect, because they were very easy words. If you have 5, trust me, you have very poor concentration. Go back to this poem, read it, just get to the words and come back and get that 8 out of 8, and then give a treat to yourself. Okay, so that's all. Thanks for watching. If you have any doubt, comment below down. I'll answer it. And if you liked it, please give a thumbs up to it. And don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.